Happy Wednesday to the people. It is me, Bobby, Mr. Hollywood, Robert Digital, the man of the people, as they say somewhere, not sure where, here live on location at 204 Comics in Winnipeg once again. This week, Ashley said he's too busy to do the podcast show, whatever you call it. We're here solo, that means. So, what are we going to talk about? It sounds like it's going to be another Learning with Bobby episode. So, if you don't know, you're about to know. Let's talk about something a little bizarre this week. A storied chapter in comic book history. Mostly here, we have Marvel comics in front of us. So if you're not a Marvel fan, I'm sorry for alienating you yet again. But here we go. We're going to talk this week about comic book inserts. Things that you find in comic books that are a little peculiar. Now, this started quite some time ago, as the stories go. We have, in fact, a few examples that I've got laid out in front of me here. First and foremost, we're going to talk about one that is a little bit of a stumper. One that catches a lot of people off guard when they are buying and selling comic books because they don't always know to check for them. And oftentimes, they catch you slipping when you least expect it. That's right, folks. This here is the dreaded Marvel value stamp. So in front of us here, we've got a Amazing Spider-Man 135. Excuse my poor handling of this. It's difficult to do one-handed. Marvel value stamps are kind of a weird thing with Marvel back in, I want to say, the 70s, late 70s, I think it is, mid 70s. You had Marvel say to the people, hey guys, cut a hole into your comic book pages and collect these. And those, the stamp there, that was the thing on the stamp. You'd cut them out and basically collect them all. There was many, many, many of them. Different characters. Sometimes I think there was team-ups, stuff like that. There's a whole pile of them. I was joking with Ashley before we recorded the video today that I wondered what a full set of the value stamps is actually worth. And I'm going to try and put it right here on the screen. Bing! I have no idea, actually, but I'm sure it'll be funny for those of us who have a passing interest. Around that same time, commonly what we would see in comic books are other kind of inserts, such as the National Diamond Sales insert, which kind of looks something like this. So you'd have diamond rings and things of this nature on display. Sometimes the backs of these ads would have lingerie and things of that nature. Ooh, very risque, that you could buy. Because a lot of, I think, soldiers and adults were buying these kind of comic books while they were off doing whatever they had to do. Looking here at another one that is very commonly talked about because it tends to inflate the value of a lot of comic books. Hard to find these ones. We have, of course, the classic Mark Jewelers insert. So these, same idea as a National Diamond Sales one. These have many rings, as you saw there, shown that you can purchase for a loved one or whomever you may need it for. All sorts of shapes and sizes. Now, as if that wasn't enough for us to put advertisements for rings or encourage you to cut holes in your comics, there were a couple of other weird things that we started to see as time moved forward. Ash, could you grab me is the ASM 238 still up there? Did it have it in it? Yep. Ashley, my assistant, who is busy, is going to bring something over for us. But I'll show you something that's kind of, hey Ash.
Worth noting, the National Diamond Sales and Mark Jewelers were almost exclusively distributed on army bases.
Yeah, on army bases. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's why they're so hard to find, especially here in Canada, where we didn't have a lot of soldiers going off to war really to that around this time when they would have been in circulation. See, Ash. So in this particular book, this is Amazing Spider-Man 238. It's a fairly well-known one as the first appearance of the Hobgoblin. And in this particular issue, you would actually see on the back, I believe it's the back page usually. This is going to be really hard to do with one hand. I should have kept you here. Okay. So on the back page of this one, you will oftentimes see this weird kind of insert, this little flappy guy right here. Inside of that, it's like a pouch almost. Inside of that.
Can we get on the camera?
Yeah.
See the outline of it kind of in the...
Try on the back side a little bit. It's really hard to make out. Yeah, like right around here, I think. That is it's called a tattoos with a Z or a Z if you're from the Freedom Land. The tattoos, it was a singular tattoo, I believe, that it's a rub on with water type of deal, and I don't know, it was just a thing. But if that's not in the comic, when you send it off to get graded, you actually get an incomplete comic book. And as is the case with not very many comics, as I understand it, sometimes there's weird inserts where, if you don't have them present, the book will be considered incomplete. Sometimes the inserts don't tend to matter very much, as I think is the case with some things like posters. Maybe not inserts. Maybe they're just included, like in a bag. If you look at X-Force 1, one of the most common dollar bin finds you'll see at just about any comic book store. If it has a poster, or I think it's a card it came with, in a poly bag, 2 cards, thank you, Ashley. If it's included, when you send it off to get graded at CGC, they just throw the card away, or they put it like in your box of stuff they send back to you. You don't need it to get the 9.8 grade. It doesn't need to be there. It's considered a complete comic without that. But in some very weird cases, as time moves forward, such is the case with the Avengers issue 391, you will have, as advertised on the front cover here, top corner there, an Overpower card. Now, if you don't know what Overpower was, it was a card game in the 90s, I believe. The insert is like so. It's a loose card there that, or it's I guess it's stapled in, but you got to think a card or two for the game. Apparently, it was a fun game. Ashley always tells me that it was like kind of, designed for a couple of different card builds to actually succeed and be viable. I don't know. I'm not a TCG guy. Moving a little further into the 90s, if you recall, if you're of my age or maybe a little bit older, you may recall that things like the Pepsi Club were huge for Pepsi, or we also had, I think Coca-Cola had their own thing. And then over yonder, you had Kool-Aid. Everybody had Kool-Aid. And in Spider-Man number 70, another weird insert is, in fact, a pack of Kool-Aid for you to try. How these do not destroy the inside of a comic book that they are stored in is still black magic to me. Ashley is encouraging me to try to drink one. I will do that on the express rule that I am allowed to take time off of work should I suffer any, issues from it. But those are some of the weird inserts that we typically see in comics. I mean, obviously the National Jewelers and the Mark Jewelers inserts, not very much because, again, we're in Canada. A lot of that stuff was circulated to American army bases and or sold just around those army bases, from what I understand. I wish I was around at that time to be able to tell you for certain. But if you know more about this kind of stuff and or other strange inserts, I would like to hear about them. But that's it for today's episode. It's a quick and short one this week, folks. We'll see you next Wednesday. Toodaloo.